And hey, welcome to the Clay and Woody Show. And a little different than last time that we met with you. We were off a week because of fall break, but we actually have old Woodrow in the studio with us. Sadly, he's actually napping right now. Let's see if we can get him up. Woody, Woody, come here, come here, come here, come here. All right, all right, sit right here. Can, this is old Woody, and Woody. We just woke him up from his nap, and so but Woody is glad to be with you here today. And I don't know that y'all can see him yet on camera, but we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him a little stool to get on so that you guys can see him. But it wouldn't be the Clay and Woodrow show if Woodrow wasn't here, and Woodrow is definitely here with us today. So on the show today, first of all, we're here at the Omar Oliver Studio, and we're glad that you're joining us, and glad that you're here with us today. And just a couple of things we're going to do. We're going to cover a little bit of sports today, focus on college football, and at the end of the day, we're going to take a hard look of all things of the death of Arkansas football. So that's the thing that we're probably going to end with today. Also excited to announce that our sponsor today will be Robbie Robertson over here. And when I say sponsor, once again, unknowingly he is sponsoring today, but we're just letting folks that are good to the community and good to people in the community be sponsors, and that's probably illegal, and Ford Motor Company is going to contact Robbie because of course the Clay and Woody show goes nationwide and they're going to frown upon this. So I would ask the Ford Motor Company, please do not lash out against Robbie Robertson. If you need to sue someone, if you would just come after all of the assets of the Clay and Woody show, because we have a team of attorneys that are behind us. But we appreciate old Robbie and everything that he does for the community. So getting right into some of the news as well, we've got what we're going to do today is look at a little college football and give you one kind of surprise pick because if you're looking at the Vegas lines, which obviously nobody in small town South Georgia is looking at Vegas lines because I think dancing and gambling are frowned upon, but you do see Clemson. We're going to look at Clemson a little bit today. Delicate fan base, so we have to be a little bit careful. But as you all know, they are taking on that overly tedious schedule in the ACC. And so I look here to my right to see what their schedule looks like, what's their next opponent. And interestingly, they're coming pretty close to home. They are this Saturday. They are going into the very, very crowded confines at Carswell Avenue Stadium. Clemson will be facing the Baptist Village.
Are they the tortoises?
The Tortoises. I think I'm not exactly sure of Baptist Village's mascot, but I think perhaps they could be the Tortoises. And for those that aren't quite as dignified, I think they just call them the Turtles over at Baptist Village. But listen, Clemson comes into Clough Stipe Field as 8.5-point favorites. I can tell you, I think Clemson does get the win, but I think this is closer than people think. I think Baptist Village, as you all know, that's a new program in the ACC. They're known for spreading the field and using their speed. They like to get their players out in space, and Clemson's going to have their hands full. Clemson wins, but not by that point spread. So take the points in Baptist Village, and I think that'll be kind of an upset to look for this week. And then the Woodrow lock of the week is the Auburn Tigers, War Eagles, Plainsmans, whatever mascot. They might be tortoises as well. They come and they go travel over to Death Valley. LSU 11-point favorites, and so I'm going to tell you, you say LSU does cover those points, and let me tell you why. It's not that Auburn's not a good football team, but an 11-point victory for the type of offense that LSU runs is really not that big of a victory. That's the type of offense they have, the number of possessions that they have, sometimes even the time of possession that they have. An 11-point victory for the way that LSU, the style of football they play, is actually not a big victory at all. That's a closer game than people will realize. So go ahead and I'll say LSU in the Fighting Ed Orgerons will cover those 11 points. So while we stay on the topic of football, though, here on the Clay and Woody show, Woody wanted me to point out to you guys that Arkansas football has officially listen, football teams experience calamity. We saw that in Athens when Georgia played South Carolina. So we got a hint of that. That's calamity. But when a football program just folds its tent and says we're going home, there's certain subtle ways that you will pick that up. And I'm going to actually show you on film the actual death of Arkansas football. If my wonderful producer over there just gives me the sign when this is running over here, you will see the fake punt that killed Arkansas football. Enjoy. So as you're watching this, I want to I've got an idea of what happened. A coach who should not have a job anymore today, a coach goes to Chad Morris at practice one day. He says, "Coach, I've got an idea." And Chad Morris says, "Listen, at the station this football program is at right now, I'll take any ideas that you got." And this coach literally took his finger and cleared out some dirt and got some grass out of the way. And he says, "Coach, I want to draw you a play right here on the ground right before your feet." And so he says, "Coach, what I want to do is I want to take the least athletic person on our team, which is the punter, and I want him to continue to have a shield of people in front of him that are 6'7" offensive linemen. And, Coach, what we should do is when that ball is snapped at him, Coach, do you remember in basketball when you got the old chest pass? I think we should try the chest pass in order to, fake a punt." And at some point in time, Chad Morris probably should have said, that sounds like a great idea, but lots of times with punts, there are these things called edge rushers, and these guys are the quickest, most athletic people, sometimes on planet Earth, but certainly at Auburn University, and they're going to be rushing off the edge. And I don't know if we can even run that again, but you will see that those guys are rush and just say, well, look, I'm going to make a little basket with my hands, and you will see as this begins to roll again that Chad Morris killed Arkansas football with one singular play that was not well thought out at all. But I can't give a better explanation of what in the world they were thinking. Here's the good news, though, is there is hope for Arkansas football. They have submitted an application to the Atlantic Coast Conference, and we've forwarded all of their paperwork over there, so we think that there is some possibility that the ACC will take them next year. Well, they'll probably be a powerhouse over at the ACC. Just kidding, ACC fans. I love y'all. I love y'all. So listen, we did see the death of Arkansas football today, but next week we're actually going to have a special guest. That special guest being none other than Sean Smoke. The Smokester will be coming in, owner, operator, creator of 912 Sports. Sean will be coming in. We'll talk a little bit of football as well to see what maybe his playoff scenario looks like. But more than anything, what I love about Sean is there is not an athletic event that he is not willing to go to and pretend like that he enjoys. And he will often call me and say, Clay, I've just come back from a dirt track race, and whoever knows where it was at, and I'm wanting to go to a badminton tournament over in Fargo. And by the way, whether that's Fargo as in Clinch County or Fargo as in North Dakota, in neither circumstance do I want to go to see a badminton tournament. But Sean Smoke is there. I mean, he will go to any sporting event on planet Earth. So we'll have the Smokester in studio next week. We'll hear from Woody again on some maybe upsets to look for and some of the Woodrow locks. But we just thank you for being with us. If you don't mind, if you're on Facebook and you find any credibility to this programming whatsoever, which at this point in time, honestly, I don't, but you might. So if you would, just share it and tell a friend that we're making us, give it a thumbs up. Isn't that something that you do?
You like it or
You like it? Share it, make a comment. As you can tell, I'm really into the technology these days, and I'm compensating by the size of the microphone that I have in front of my face. But if you could just like it, share it, make a comment, and if you want to leave any notes for us. Now, one other thing, Sean Smoke, we do want to say, has a fascinating love of kind of the late 80s, 90s college music scene, in which he was a student at the University of Georgia for 11 and a half years. And so he'd seen anywhere from Toad the Wet Sprocket to the Freddie Jones Band, all the way through All Good Music Company, Widespread, the whole gamut. He has been to every concert ever imaginable. So if you have any random questions to ask Sean Smoke about badminton or Toad the Wet Sprocket, if you would please just sign up down below and leave a comment. You guys have a good day, and we will see you next week.